Guys, it's your boy Viper here. Today we're doing episode 8 of The Game Takes. And yesterday's we had a horrible, and if you guys, I don't know if anyone's watched at like 10 o'clock at night, we had a horrible 6 minute stream because we had some disrespectful behavior on a different topic. But um today we are gonna be doing not the topic that was mentioned yesterday. We're gonna be talking about, are energy drinks worth it? That's been a question mark. Mostly energy drink companies have been on the rise in the last couple of years overall, and it's pretty expected. But could there be issues with energy drinks? Um, as for especially with the young, especially with the population growing up, and that could be an issue. But before we get to that, let our guest introduce himself, and we'll get from there. Um, well, can you ready up too? Sorry. So we're gonna start with opening topic as always with the show, and I actually do have a wrote down actually questions and topics, and I do have opening topic I want to ask you. Um, Let me just get to it. So you starting off your YouTube career, you streaming on Mixer and Twitch. You're trying to grow as a kind of a small streamer at the moment, as how I kind of found you. What is you kind of as kind of over in years and years go on, what is your kind of planned? What is your overall goal that you want to achieve in the next couple of years regarding your gaming career, streaming career, content creation, all that? I gotta start somewhere. What have you been trying to, well, since you said you've been saving a lot of money, kind of what jobs have you been working to be able to make the money to be able to buy your streaming equipment and all that? Nice. I know it's probably a boring job, but are you kind of young? Oh, so not really, having a lot of bankroll. You're not. It's not like you have a heavy degree job or it's based on that. So it's just kind of, it's a good thing that you kind of did this kind of really early, at a young age because there could be a big, especially with, you know, you want to try to limit your chances at college, or well, you maybe do want to go to college, but maybe you want a backup plan, and having a backup streaming plan works perfectly. Oh, nice. Hopefully that happens in the next couple of years as you kind of keep your grades up in school. What actually? Let's get also with the what are you kind of what equipment have you been saving up for? That's fortunate. Kind of what you kind of planning on getting like a I don't know, this might be too exotic. Um, Maybe like like a PC or a monitor, or maybe like a microphone, like a Blue Yeti or something like that. Nice. So that's gonna. My streaming career is a little bit too late now because I'm already in college. Well, this is like a backup. This is just like a hobby at this point. Maybe if, this show gets really successful, maybe I can succeed off it, but it's just kind of, I wish I did this like at a younger age or, like you try to start pursuing streaming, especially how many teenagers, how many teenagers are just have an opportunity to be content creation full time or be good at video games at such a young age. I think that's kind of really good overall. Trying to build a brand. Like, kind of like this, we say. Um, so let's get into the main topic here, and um, are energy drinks worth it? Energy drinks have been really grown. There's a lot more companies. Mostly, it started with old days Monster, Red Bull, um, Rockstar Energy, kind of really some of the really known energy drink brands that have been up in the last couple years. Well, actually, just like maybe in the like start 2000s, that's when its energy drinks start becoming a thing. Now you have Five Hour Energy too, cheap energy drink brands, really quick energy, and that's kind of been a thing. And now, in the last maybe 10 years, since gaming has been really known, since maybe the Xbox 360, Xbox came out, there has been an increase in like gaming specific energy drink brands like G Fuel. I think another one, Rogue Energy, that thing has gotten a lot of more smaller people. I think Respawn by Razer, that's been a new one. Is a ton of energy drink brands that have been also Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel. That's been another one that's been on the rise. So first thing I kind of want to ask you is what type of energy drink brands do you drink that are non-gaming specific, like are not based for gaming? Then we're gonna ask the other way around. Um, huh, Kickstarter. That's been another um brand that's been on. Well, that was kind of an old one. I thought it was like Kickstarter. It was like Kickstart base. I didn't like Kickstarter is like the energy drink brand, and you go to Amp Game Fuel. It's like gaming. So it was interesting when um I I forgot about Kickstarter when they announced Mountain Dew and Game Fuel because it came out like the end of 2018, and because I knew it from Call of Duty sponsor and all that, but that came out and I was like shocked. All these new energy drink brands, and but you know hopefully maybe do you see like any other chance that other soda based companies will make energy drink? Well, I don't know how I'm gonna say this, like how Mountain Dew did. Like will they make energy drink variants of from the soda companies? You think that so it could maybe have a possibility, but I don't know. It's just I think you can't. It's hard to get some of those brands. I think Dr. Pepper. Um, I don't know. really see it in something like maybe Dr. Pepper, making that, like maybe Dr. Pepper, Coke, um, maybe Sprite making a push like that. But you think that could? You think Coke will ever do that? I think Coke, especially being a lot more well known with a lot more people. I think it's one of the most worldwide brands. You think they should do that? Although it might be hard, though it might be pointless. Especially people can just drink Coke and have the same effects. Oh, it could happen, but it just matters if do they want to do it? Will it be kind of successful, especially with um how many people have been. Well, I think it could be successful, especially with how many people have been wanting to try it. You know, not a lot of hate towards it. It could be worth the effort. Could be a lot more extra money, but again, if it's like a really big Fortune 500 company, I wouldn't see it happening. I think it just has to be some like upstart. That's the only way I can see like a success towards it. Like it can't, or I don't know. It can't be like it has to be some like it has to be upstart. That's the only way I can see it. Okay, so that was good. First question we had. Um, what energy drink brands on? I probably we kind of went to this already, kind of a little bit. What energy drink brands otherwise do we kind of um do we? I don't know how I want to say this. Um, do we see kind of less I don't know. This is kind of a hard one because I think it came up with it. It's like, oh, it could be an interesting one, but as we kind of just talked about it, would especially could we see less caffeinated, like could we see less caffeinated, like just focus on other forms of chemicals that can evolve increase performance and energy instead of like a lot of those brands just focusing on, yeah, caffeine is the main source. Could they evolve from that, or will it still kind of be like the main, like could they find a like any other way drink companies or energy drink based companies could find a way to improve on the besides the caffeine motive? I think scientists could figure it out, but I think if it's not broken, don't fix it. That's kind of the motive there. With it, I think matters on how you just got to test it in a lab. I think that's the big thing with it. Um, if you can test it in the lab, maybe it works. Maybe you can find a way to make it more efficient without using caffeine. You know, could make it so like it's a limited time? I think the problem with caffeine is kind of just it lasts a longer time, but maybe they can make a drink that can last like maybe just have an effect of maybe like 1 to 2 hours per like maybe just say it's like a let's just say it's like a 24-ounce can. Eight if you drink 8 ounces of that energy drink that has a different energy effect. Maybe it has a limit. Like, if you drink 8 ounces of this, you have maybe an energy balance of hour and 30 minutes or something like that, maybe 2 hours. So it just doesn't last. Well, maybe it won't last like it doesn't feel like it affects the overall sleeping patterns and all that. You think that could work? Well, yeah. So the next thing I'm gonna kind of ask you next question. Professional players have been drinking at least 4 to 5 energy drinks. A lot of I think esports players have been drinking a lot more energy drinks than what it should be. Overall, they have been I don't know. It said 4 to 5. I think seen it on some energy drinks a day for competitive game purposes. Do you think these these companies need to put some sort of restrictions on how much you should drink to kind of restrict like any health imbalances? Do you think could they be more like educational? Well, kind of educational. Um, I don't know, like have like some sort of like just show it to like every gamer. Like maybe have some like warning label. I don't know if energy drinks do have warning label. Maybe they do, but like could they maybe sponsor a video on like like on their Twitter, the Instagram, maybe just like maybe it's on the highlights of Instagram or something like that. Like make like the effects that it can have if you overdo it or you don't follow like health restrictions or something like that. Do you think they well true on that they sell the products to make money and people can decide what to do but I think it's teaching the public education. I think especially I wouldn't I want to say like maybe Monster, Rockstar, Red Bull and all that because a lot more people know about those brands. But I think especially um, they know how they know what the purpose is. Like it's really based on energy and make sure they know the limits. It's real educated people know what the limits is on energy. But as I think gamers who I don't know how I want to say this without being disrespectful. Gamers are somewhat less educated on they don't know the limits. There's gamers who maybe drink so much that they play 24 to 48 hours straight. Um, you know, they they do a little bit too much. for like their consumption. Do you think like those, gaming companies like G Fuel, Rogue Energy, the ones, whatever juice, Monster Juice you mentioned, kicked Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, they need to kind of have more support on showing those effects, like proving that this is bad, or like the effects it can have on gamers if they do it over too much. Um, yeah, it's just kind of hard. Um, just because gaming is one of those addictive things, gambling. Um, one of those addictive activities that, you wish you can, you don't want to stop. Even if you're bored, because it's something that just a lot of times just calms the nerves after a stressful day, and you just want to do that. But again, it's really um hard. Well, it's just one of those addictive activities that people just have a hard time really wanting to stop doing, and they don't want to go. Maybe the people don't want to go to work. Maybe you know, even some people don't really feel the energy drink um kind of effect after one. So maybe it's like alcohol. Maybe you don't feel it after one tequila shot, but you feel it after, you don't feel it after two. Maybe you do three. You know, maybe people think, okay, if it doesn't affect, like, if it doesn't give that instant rush 1 to 2 minutes after you just chug that bitch down, that's maybe people find a, I don't know, maybe it's just that could be a cause of over exertion. Could it be? Or is it just, I can go. And people buy Red Bull. Oh yeah. So it's just, especially with all these esports orgs coming into play, you know, people want to support. Just say you're big, big fan of um FaZe, who is sponsored by G Fuel. People want to, they want to follow the team's passion. You know, especially I think also with another thing is also how cheap these energy, like, well, they're decently cheap. Especially with like the normal prices, they're not too over expensive. They're what you kind of expect from normal prices. They're not over expensive. It's probably, as it probably 30-35 bucks to get a decent tub. Um, so excuse me. It's again, yeah, it's gonna be hard, but it's a possibility we can really. I think it's just the basis of that thing is just trying to educate the public, knowing that, okay, if it doesn't work, if just find some other form of energy. You maybe use coffee, green tea, maybe just jog in place for 20 seconds. Like, there's no point of needing too much energy. Like, well, not needing like 2 energy drinks to fuel you, like fuel you for an hour. Like, or if you don't feel after the first effect, then you know it's a big concern. You know, it's a big concern for them. They don't feel it. It's just, I don't think you need energy drinks every day. Just use it when you need it. Like when you feel like you're tired, when you feel like you're laggy, but you know, you're just starting off like you're like it. You don't have to use it for the full effect. You can like there's points of the day where you have full energy, but people don't really realize that. Like it's just like people just don't use the energy drinks to just use it as a like just use it if I think best way to describe it is just use energy drinks when you really can't focus. Like it has to be really serious where you can't focus. I think that's the problem with it. They just kind of think, oh yeah, this can fuel my whole day, and then they overconsume that much, and then you know they do it every day, 365 days a year. It's gonna have some big effect on the body. Well, yeah, it's kind of right. It's matters on how that you know if they like it off the first rep. If people try, I think the good thing about energy drinks overall is it well that's kind of good. You know, you taste it once, you don't like it the first. You know, it's like foods and you know other stuff like other products. You don't like it the first time, you're probably not gonna like it the other times. You know you're not gonna try that again. I think you know maybe you know it's kind of like other stuff, you know, it might not have the best taste, but you know, it could get you that rush, and you know, that's they know the health effects. You know, it's if they, I think people also need to do is like, if you don't like it, then find some other energy based drink. You know, you don't like the Monster, the Red Bull, like you don't like. I, basically, this is what I compared it to. If you don't like gasoline, you don't like carotene in a can, you know, that just throw it out. You're drinking gas. That's basically all Red Bull, Monster, and Rockstar is. Do you kind of think it's like kind of even with? Oh no, you can go. Oh yeah, that's. I don't think anyone really. I don't think a lot. I think me, you, and me. I don't. I never drank. I never had a energy drink before. I never had Red Bull, Monster, coffee, even coffee. Um. Well, I wouldn't say. Well, oh, sorry. I wouldn't say about the energy drink part, but I never had what you comparing, but I never really had an energy drink. It's never my feeling. You know, I can find some other ways of energy. I think especially it matters on the person too. You know, if the person wakes up smoothly in the morning, there's no point of buying Red Bull ever. It just matters on, you know, your overall genetics and all that. Um, if again, that's if it's just I think just the only it matters on genetics. I wouldn't think it matters on genetics that much, but um, again, it's just personal feeling. I think. End of the day, if you want energy drink, go get it. I wouldn't give a crap about him. But as long as you kind of learn the side effects, that's gonna be kind of learn the issues with it, then make sure you do learn it before you start trying or experimenting things. Do you think also I think well let me finish this off with this question here. I just thought about this now, how they got workout, they got pre-workout and all that. Do you think people could be using, well, pre-workout, like kind of a quick energy? Do you think they could use too many servings? Or, could it, well, that could be a thing too. People using pre-workouts, a lot cheaper option. They can use it anywhere. It doesn't have to be gaming specific, or it's quick energy. Do you think that could be on the rise? Like, people will realize that could be on the rise soon? Or think about that? Oh, yeah. Well, pre-workout's kind of like coffee. Pre-workout is like coffee, except there's a lot more options of flavors. I think, yeah, that could, maybe people don't like coffee, they can try pre-workout, but, and then they could use too much of a serving, it's a lot, they can use it, it doesn't have to be game specific, well, actually, people, you do use G Fuel and, like, Rogue Energy for, workout purposes, but, that's kind of just based on the same conversation, it's just how much do you take and all that. So let's get to the next question here. I do have a lot more. Though when I wrote down the topics I want to talk about, I had a little bit more, but it's okay. I can come with more. So next question topic is, so with kind of the younger population in esports, on the rise, a lot more kids, a lot more gamers have been gaming, younger population, all that. Do you think there could be a chance where we see, especially with these young gamers who want to get better and they have a lot of energy already, do you think it, let me see. Do you think they don't listen to the high amounts they have already with the energy drinks? Like, do you think kids really, I think the main population, well, kids, especially, G Fuel and being one of the most known energy drink, gaming drink brands, and, gamers, a lot of gamers know G Fuel and a lot of kids know G Fuel. So, actually, what do you think of these younger kids having access to energy drinks, at a really young age, like 13 or under, well, like, before, like, their teenage years, or, like, before 16, especially in a high amount? Imagine how successful you are, but, yeah, that's, well, it could be, again, maybe I think one thing that companies need, these, maybe these, like, gaming energy drink companies need to do a lot more, well, a decent amount, oh crap, a lot more of is trying to teach the younger population that, maybe, I don't know how, they can, trade have the younger population kind of learn more about, you know, the limits and the effects. As you know, as kind of what I mentioned earlier, just teaching the public about it. Um, but I think the big thing is just trying to teach these kids. You know, you're not gonna, you know, you can be you don't have to play 24/7. You don't have to be cranked on energy. You don't have to be hyper excessive on, you know, drinking Monster. You know, and people, like, you know, these kids think, oh, this Monster energy. Well, actually, that's gonna be a later question. Um, these drinks, they have, um, you know, they make me shoot better. They make me do this and that. But you know, it's based like energy drinks. They just make you, they just keep you awake. That's all it does. And these kids think that I don't know how many kids probably think. Well, this is maybe they do. Maybe a lot of, you know, not really educated kids. Well, decently educated kids who game know um that they don't do anything, and these they get um false false information that they think this is really, this helps you. It does, maybe it does help your overall performance, but it like it just helps keep you awake. That's all it does. And all these companies thinking, oh, it will help your overall performance. It will help you shoot better, play better, and all that, but it doesn't really do that much. Overall, it just gives you more energy. What do you kind of think about that? I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted right now. True on that part, because it's just, problem is you got these younger kids who think they're, you know, they get misinformed of that opportunity of, wow, okay, um, you know, maybe this will help, but it doesn't help. It just, you just want to, you have to improve your overall game performance. You have to get better at game knowledge. Is the difference between being good and you know, being good and being bad. It's not how energized you are. Yeah, maybe you can use, you know, maybe it helps you stay a lot more focused, but you know, you're still not thinking correctly a lot of times. You know, I don't. I'm guessing there's studies that, you know, although it does keep you decently focused, it's just it doesn't help for long-term effects. You know, it just doesn't work for a really decently long term, and that's kind of the thing. But hopefully it does get a lot better. Um, now let's get into hopefully, I think the base of that question is just kind of hopefully kids know what to do. Um, just just teaching kids that you have to prove your gun skill. You have to prove you don't be good by drinking energy drinks. Um, I think that's gonna be the basis of that. And the last thing, so now, can you repeat the energy drinks that you have consumed, like use commonly? Um, so you never, have you really used it, have you tried to use it for gaming? But, well, actually, well, that's kind of different. You kind of use it for gaming purposes a little bit, but, kind of as a first-hand experience, I just asked this, as kind of a first-hand, user, or in your perspective, have you when you consumed Monster Kickstart, have you what differences have you noticed in your body and your overall ways? Yeah, that's kind of my energy way. But again, I don't drink it that much. It's just kind of if I, um, just maybe spray out. It's kind of decent. I ain't drinking a lot of. I've been drinking it recently because they also have a vending machine in my college, and I just get it every Friday. I do like a specific day. Just feel proud. Reward myself. With energy drink because I did the hard work. Let me just spend my $1.75 on a Monster and just feel proud that I did a lot of this work without too much energy in the first place. And let me see. It's just I kind of use it as a reward system. I don't use it as a okay. I guess I think if you like people, it's just procrastinators. I think that could be another reason why energy drinks haven't. Are you kidding me? We both got sniped. I think also imagine like how the individual person is. If you wake up early in the morning, you wake up 2 hours before school or work, you should not. There's no way you need an energy drink. You can just probably do like 10, 15, 10 push up, maybe do like a small little no sweat workout, and you can probably have the same like increased like you can have that same effect of being like awake. But it's just kind of those. Imagine the person if you're just like lazy. You never, you always want to do something. You do something late. You never, you wake up late. It's just matters on the person. What? And it's different for every individual overall. Because that's kind of it just matters on the person. Imagine how she wants to get the fine energy, and just matters. It's matters on how you want to reward yourself. I think that's kind of how I use it. You know, I want to. Me and you probably want to be as healthy as possible. You don't want to, drink soda or Red Bull. Drink soda, Red Bull, Monster Energy 24/7 a day, and sit on the couch doing nothing. You know, yeah, and it's just your health overall. Maybe I think also using as a late and also well actually I get back in esports like the professional players topic about using F4 and 5 energy drinks. Um, on what time of the day they do it. A lot of people, I think the shocking part is a lot of people have those inconsistent sleep schedules where they use it at 10, like, just, I want to say this, like, just say it's like a call, I'm going to compare Call of Duty. Actually, let's do Fortnite. Fortnite has scrims. They do 4 to 5 hours of scrims. maybe solos, duos, or trios, whatever they form they decide to do, and then they said, okay, I want to get better. Let me use the energy and drink it this time. But I've been like just say it's like 8 o'clock they started using it, and it lasts that full 5 hours. But the problem, that's great if you're using it for like, I'm not gonna be a fond fan of that anyways. But um, using it for that portion where you need to really like for gaming, you need to really focus. Like you want to improve, that's somewhere you use it correctly. But the problem is, people use it when when you're not really doing something that's super. Oh, let me come get you. That's like super serious. Like, just say you're like Ninja. He's a streamer. He streams. He doesn't need, unless he's doing a 24-hour marathon. Well, even that, you'd be crazy. I don't think I ever do a 24-hour marathon, straight without having breaks and all that. But they do these, just, maybe Ninja's purposes uses for a long stream. But again, it's not too well, it's kind of serious, but it's, you can. It's not like something that can affect, like it's not. You can get better over time. It's not gonna give you that full, like. There's no purpose of it. No purpose of needing that quick rush if you're gonna be streaming for 2 to 3 hours. Just playing playing Fortnite Arena. You can survive without that. If it also matters on how much you. I kind of mentioned earlier. I'm repeating a lot of the same crap, but that's okay. It matters on how much time you use it for, and that's the big thing. If you're doing it for, again, that 5 to 6 hours, yeah, use it. Use 5 hours of seriousness, yeah, use it, but don't like use it just for just streaming like BS purposes. That's gonna be the big difference maker. Just use it when you need, like, I think for gamers, use it when you really need to go hard. Like the times you really seriously need to go hard. You don't have to use it when you're just playing casually, or I give another example. Um, I'll give Rainbow Six example. You just say you're like almost to plat. You're plat 1. You're almost a diamond. You need to really focus. You play with your team of 5. Make sure you're not. So maybe that's a good time to use it, because this is something close to achievement. This is something that you worked for a long time without that time energy. And this is the time you really want to focus. This is an achievement. This, you drink the energy drink, you focus a lot more for achievement. And that's a good time to use it. But you don't use it when you're just like cruising through the lowest levels. Like you don't cruise it through like something that's too far away from your destined goal. And I think that's gonna kind of be the purpose of it. Just try to just use on how I would try to use energy drinks for gaming. Just use it for that long stream, either 12 hours or long, like 6 hours or longer streams. Kind of anything that's serious practice for esports purposes, or anything close to really accomplishable, like proud achievement, like proud goals or achievements that you want to achieve. Um, I'm just that was a long. I kind of want to ask you this: how would your purpose as, just say a gamer, just from a different, like, just in your eyes. I'll say from different, like a gamer, just a gamer. How would you try to purpose the use of energy drinks while gaming? Like, when would you use it? Oh, sorry. Um, how would you? What purposes were you use energy drinks in gaming? Well, for like for okay, sorry, not that. For like a regular gamer. Um, especially for the early start of the stream or early hours in the morning. I wouldn't see for the afternoon stream. There's no purpose of that. Unless you like doing a long stream, but I think you're kind of right. Yeah, you need to be awake. Like, you can't be like sleeping like 30 minutes in and you're like, like you doing that shit. You can't be doing that. You gotta, like that's an interesting purpose, but even that, you kind of it's a good reason, but but the thing is, if you don't really, you're gonna start a stream before you have no energy. Well, again, yeah, people do actually do that. So, but again, just good is good reason. It depends on what the person does, but in my opinion on that, I think just making sure you have energy before you just have some sort of non-energy, like caffeine based energy before you start streaming. What other purpose do you have? What other purposes do you have for like using energy drinks in gaming? Well, not in your. Yeah. Oh yeah, taste. So just well, I think yeah, I think that's the difference between how you I think also how companies have been trying to exclusively um make more money. I don't know what the hell banging is happening. No. Wait, hello. Oh, sorry. It just has. I don't know. Someone's like knocking on the floor below me. I don't know what's happening. I was just confused what's happening. Um, but yeah, I think companies have been trying to get more. I think also with that, energy drink companies trying to get more people persuaded by having a variety of, um, again, yeah, flavors. I think you want more variety, and you don't want to be bland. So that's the taste. That's a big factor. People, again, people do get addicted by taste. It's the same thing as food. That cookies and cream ice cream looks good in your fridge, and you start tasting it first time, it's like, wow, this is really good. Then you just start getting addicted. It's like energy drinks a little bit. Just getting really kind of addicted to its flavor. Any other purposes you kind of use, like, think about it? Well, for a casual gamer, like, what other so personal branding? Oh yeah, again, a lot more. It's really easy. I think again, you get more. It's like a chain. It's kind of like a chain, or like I'm gonna say like a virus. Um, it's not. I could say chain effect, but I think virus because it's somewhat harmful in like just when I think in my case. Yeah, I think especially how how easy it kind of is, especially with gaming growing. A lot more people have been affiliated with G Fuel, Game Fuel. A lot more team like organizations have been associate their branding with esports. When when people see it on the stream, it's like, and people do on streams do self promote. They do self promote. Hey, I have an example here. Hey, you tried hey, this is a new G Fuel flavor. This is strawberry banana by KSI. I think that's the one he released. I don't know. This is great. This tastes excellent. This is magnificent. It's true banana, 100% banana. They add more and more, you know, details that attract more people, and that could attracts a lot more of a gathering. That's the easiest down ever. So, you know, that's the big it's just how could you attract the overall, you know, that's get more people. People want to test new stuff. There's always people are curious. I think that's curious the population in the United States. Well, overall, in every society in the world, you want to be more curious, and it's always trying new things. And this is something that we're gonna be talking about in the closing topic that I'm gonna explain once we finish this. In the fight we're in right now. But that branding is I think another big purpose. And so you got any other kind of uses for a casual gamer? So actually I got one more. I think coming up with one more topic I can probably add to this. I thought it was gonna be like a lot longer, but I didn't write enough details on down. But could do you think I don't know how I want to say this. Do you think any how like I don't know. This is gonna be something that's kind of hard because there is kind of a lack of like health professionals that actually stream. Um, like nurses, doctors. I don't know if any surgeon does it. Anyone who does like health-based careers could like could they play a big influence in deferring the population who want to start trying energy drinks? Like, could they cause an initiative to change people's minds if they prove it correctly? I was kind of like, yeah, with the drugs and all that, yeah. But I want to see like if it could be interesting. I think with that, could they s- draw comparisons like with how you mentioned about um drugs and all that. People dying by drugs, car crashes, cigarettes, and all that. Could they make claims towards the harms, like comparisons? Oh yeah, that's true. In fact, like that's kind of matters on how big of an effect they play it. If there's like they never think about it, then yeah, then that's whatever. That's they just. But thing is, they probably don't do a lot of testing it. Um, which that's the same guy that killed me. Um, I think testing is they never again they already tested already. There's video. I think there was actually I think one when I was driving home from Cedar Point. My mom was this actually I think personal kind of interesting story. Might as well explain it. My mom, driving home from Cedar Point, going back home. It was a 2-hour drive. Dad went to the store trying to get some Red Bull, and it's like my mom was just like, "Why do you need Red Bull? It's like well, it's a nighttime trip, so keep him focused." But he was already come on. It was like we were there at Cedar Point all day. You can't be that tired. Well, maybe actually, never mind. You walk a lot, but you know, it's like why do you how much, don't drink too much Red Bull and all that. And it's like, and then after that, they explain the story. It's like, oh, there's a video on Facebook or YouTube that showed like what happened to a heart after a dude drank 5 Red Bulls in a certain time period. I don't know what time period. And I think this is one of the most interesting things. His heart enlarged by like 500 times what a normal heart is. Like it was I would say it was like a big ass. It was like a, I don't know how I want to say this. Just imagine like your overall like it's a belly. Like just imagine like a fat person's belly. That's how big the heart was. It really it's a rare case, and electrolytes. I think, especially I think it's more beneficial to the health. It, are you kidding me? It has like great taste, but it provides. There's also electrolytes in there too. Oh, that's bad karma. Um, there's electrolytes, vitamins, and all that. That can help the overall body and provide good taste and a decent amount of energy. Like, I know it's not like top notch energy, like those energy like Red Bull and Monster and all that, but it provides the same taste without having those scary effects that are could be normal with excessive amount or of energy drinks. Actually, I'm gonna search up right now, kind of the side effects, um, with these if you do drink excess amount. Um, that was a good thing. We couldn't think about that. So I just went the first thing. And Google said they are widely promoted as products that increase energy, enhance mental alertness, and physical performance. What it meant? Well, yeah, maybe mental awareness. I think it's kind of important for test. I think people have been using it at school too. I think for school for test purposes. Um, uh, and this is kind of So it says also here, men between ages of 18 and 34 consume the most energy drinks, and almost one-third the teens between 12 and 17 drink them regularly. One third. Um, that I don't know. Just say it's like 90. I don't have a lot compared in America. Just say there's 60 million teens and um 60 between those age numbers. That's about 20 million of the population who do that regularly. Um, well, said there's 72 or 40 milligrams of caffeine in energy drinks. There's also other disease. Brazilian Coke. Oh wait, also wait, this is interesting. Oh no, just go. No, I just said regularly. I I wouldn't think they drink. I think it's probably once a day. I wouldn't think it's water. I wouldn't think they would drink it like water, like free a day. Um, this is like old statistics, but you know, might as well, it's showed up on Google. So it said between 2007 and 2011, the number of energy drink related visits to emergency departments doubled. In 2011, 1 in 10 of these visits resulted in hospitalization. Well, again, that number it said between in 2011, that number should have increased in the last 8 years. Yeah, that should be kind of an increased amount. Um, college, I don't know, this is like an interesting statistic too. After I get in this fight, barely 1 in 4. CDC reports that drinkers aged 15 to 23 who mix alcohol with energy drinks are 4 times more likely to binge drink at high intensity. And you know that's it. Binge drink is kind of 6 or more drinks per binge. Drink and also another thing is drinkers who mix alcohol with energy drinks are more likely than drinkers who do not mix alcohol with energy drinks to report unwanted or unprotected sex, driving drunk, or riding with a driver who is intoxicated or sustaining alcohol-related injuries. It's interesting. Also the last, I don't know what the hell sound was that. Also mentioned year 2011, 42% of all energy drink related emergency department visits involved combining these energy drinks with drugs, such as marijuana or over-the-counter prescriptions. So people, I don't know how this would be interesting. People have, it'll be interesting. They try to, I don't know. These are probably like the crazy people. I'm not gonna say these are like the gamers who try to use cocaine with energy drinks, but that could be interesting if that's the case. Uh, and let's get to the safety part because these are kind of more on the health effects. Um, Large amounts of caffeine may cause serious heart and blood vessels problems such as heart rhythm disturbances and increase in heart rate and blood pressure, along with and caffeine. Kids who do drink excessive amount of caffeine um, may harm the kids' developing cardiovascular and nervous systems. I don't. So, what do you kind of think about that? What I just said? Because I don't think a lot of these, I don't think any of these energy drinks kind of mention that with kids and caffeine, which we talked about earlier. Listen. Oh, sorry. I guess you were talking to someone. Um, So what do you so I mentioned like it could harm the kids' cardiovascular and nervous systems if they drink too much excessive amount of caffeine, especially when at such a young age. What do you kind of think? Also another thing I mentioned is they a really heavy, large amount of caffeine, which I don't know what kind of a large amount is distributed as because they don't mention it in here, but also they don't mention what a large amount of caffeine, like what is the doctor's limit on caffeine per day? If I if they do, I don't know if they mentioned that. But it said it might cause heart and blood vessel problems, such as increased heart rate and blood pressure, along with imbalances in your heart's rhythm. What do you kind of think about that? Well, that's something that, especially that's the part that kind of keeps you. That's the most important part of your body. Your heart shuts down. It's kind of you're basically dead. Unless you're like a miracle, then you get a shock. But you don't want to be in that situation where you have to be shocked to be able to live. Um, but another, let me actually look at another thing that I mentioned. Um, guarana has also been another ingredient that has been included in a lot of caffeines too, which has been associated in energy drinks, and is said um, it does actually increase the caffeine's limit, the caffeine's total amount, and also another thing that mentioned is caffeine has actually made people more has caused more anxiety, well, sleep problems. That was a thing. That's easy, kind of knows easy. Um, oh shit. Um, Sleep problems, digestive problems, and dehydration, which I think those are reasonable if you do drink energy drinks, but people don't. A lot of people don't complain about it on streams. And also another thing that's mentioned is excessive energy drink consumption may disrupt teens' sleep pattern and um, may increase in risk-taking behavior. May increase the teens' risk taking behavior, which could also kind of lead to more experimenting. Like let me do marijuana. Let me vape. Let me smoke and all that. And actually, this is kind of also another thing. Last thing I kind of mentioned: a single 16-ounce container contains around 54 to 62 grams of added sugar, um, from already caffeinated amount, from already all the guarana, um, from whatever how else is in there. This kind of exceeds the maximum amount of added sugars recommended for the entire day, based on one energy drink. What do you kind of think about that? That is scary when you think about it. One energy drink exceeds the sugar limit for the whole day. Um, Actually, that's one more thing that's gonna mention. I found a different article too with the type 2 diabetes. When you mentioned, um, because many energy drinks also high, well, with the high, we know with the high sugar content, um, they can the insulin producing cells can wear insulin producing cells can wear out in the pancreas, which can increase the amount of type 2 diabetes. So, you know, as people never really think about, like, that's kind of it's you can have, again, he said the worst situation, you can have a heart attack, the heart imbalances, but something that could be that's not genetically, yeah, it could be fatal, and it's something that a lot of times isn't your it's it's not like, no, type 1 diabetes, it's not your fault. It's, sometimes, well, depends on what the case is. Again, genetics is kind of more based in type 1 diabetes, but type 2 diabetes, that's you making a stupid mistake of having too much sugar. And, you could be being that lazy, crashed out worker, um, knowing that, wow, well, I don't want to say this, but I just basically, I remember again, with all these streamers too, they don't notice that, they never think about it. It's I don't know how many cases, but it's kind of, we probably do have cases of it. But it's not like to these big streamers like Tfue, Ninja, um, Shroud, where they do have type 1 diabetes. Oh, sorry, type 2 diabetes. With energy drinks, and that could be kind of an interesting detail there. Um, yeah, that I think. So that's kind of the last thing we gotta talk about this topic. Is just kind of overall explanation of it. Just just I think the big goal of this whole topic is limit yourself. Use it as a reward. Like, okay, for game purposes, either using it as a try hard session, like you really have to try hard, you want to get better. Anything close to personal achievement, as I mentioned with the Rainbow Six, getting close to the highest, really the highest rank you can possibly achieve, or a like a really long stream. Otherwise, there's just no other purpose for using it in gaming. Also with the crank thing, but that's, you need to have energy. Um, so the closing topic I have is, when I think I mentioned when we went to Dusty Depot earlier. I mentioned, we got killed by that brood. And I'm gonna kind of talk about the Fortnite community. I guess you play a lot of Fortnite. You really, you guess you're a dedicated fan of the game. Um, with all these dedicated fans, these Twitch streamers, what there's been a lot of controversy with when they announced that the brute, or, well, everybody calls it the mech, got introduced into Fortnite in season 10. I'll pick that up in a second. Um, you know, that's been a lot of controversy. There's also been a lot of controversies with um esports too. Good thing is they did it right after the World Cup with the mech. There was back in December of 2018, they added Affinity Sword while there was qualifiers for I forgot what it was. Um, there's I don't know what the qualifiers were actually, but there was controversy with that. Oh, I think it was like a big Fortnite tournament too. But with that, what has do you think the Fortnite developers at Epic Games what do you think their problem is? Like, do they? Um, yeah, you kind of right. That's right on that. I think that's one of the biggest controversies of this game overall. Is just kind of the lack of kind of respect for. I think especially knowing that this game is the battle royale is coming up. Well, September 27th. I don't want it can come out September 25th, 27th. So the game is basically like 2 years old. I think in a couple weeks it will be 2 years old in the battle royale version, not the overall game, because I think they came out in July 2017. Yeah, that seems right. Um, so listening to the population has been really, I don't know. It's something that why why would you kind of care about, you know, that's kind of thing. This is a game of learning. You can learn something new. You don't have to teach the PC. I think the thing is try to, wow, fuck, I'm like stuttering. They're trying to teach, I think trying to get the console, well, I think trying to get the PC players better, like more balanced. They forget about the consoles and all that, and as it's been noticed with the Fortnite World Cup a little bit, where um they I don't think they had too many. I don't think they even had like one console player in the Fortnite World Cup. I think it was 100 PC players. So they still I think Fortnite hasn't been listening to that. They have been listening to, okay, you have this game in many forms. You got PS4, Xbox One, you got Android, iPhone, you got all these Switch. You have all these devices um that have this game. You know, are associated with um many different versions of the consoles and all that. Oh crap, I left on accident. And the problem is that, they don't find a balance between all those like different consoles and versions of the game. And that's the thing, is they focus too much on how you can improve the PC how to balance PC population. Although the other versions are still not you know not up to par. If that makes any sense. And also with um the cross platform. Um, it was an interesting motive. It's nice. But the problem is it should not. I think if you're playing solo, you shouldn't have cross platform. I actually was Apex. Oh yeah. But the thing is, I think there's just I think finding also another controversy. This time last week, turbo building got nerfed and people didn't like it, so I got rid of back. So they listened immediately to that, but they haven't listened to kind of these additions that kind of are ruining the game. Like just what we got the mech. They still haven't. They haven't really. They don't have community posts too. Let's say, oh, what do you wanna do with this? Like, what do you want to do with this item or something like that? You want to move it, you want to rework, or you want it still in the game as the same as they never do any polls for them. The surveys are pointless because it just says if you enjoy the game or not. That's not really helpful. And you know, they it's just really doesn't help the population overall. But actually, I used to play on that. It wasn't that bad. I don't know. I think they should. I don't know how you want to do. Again, good thing is they did introduce arena mode, which brought a big kind of balance between who wants the tryhards and the casuals. But again, when in like an esports setting, it's just not fair a lot of times, and that's kind of where the population gets harmed a little bit because it's either you own a PC. Oh, what happened? Oh shit. Oh, sorry, we had some issues with our stream. Let's say I was connecting for some reason. Let me fix this problem real quick. A little bit unfortunate on that side, but no, I'll fix it. But that's kind of continue the esports topic while we wait for him to join the party if it works. That's kind of unfortunate disconnect. But it's just again, it matters on how you want to achieve the overall goal of esports, especially with this craft platform. I think Rocket League was one of those games that kind of succeeded at that. But again, I think Fortnite's just kind of too complicated because of the 3D movement. I think with building, the quick builds and all that, it made a kind of a big difference overall. I think people have mastered it, and the console population is hard because they can't build as fast. They don't have those, they can't switch that quickly between like builds and all that, which PC they just like press with their fingers. That's all they do. And this one you have to like do that, and it just takes too long. They have to do it twice. Like just say this. This is like the wall. Go here, press right. Yeah, you have to do that. They like that, and just say this one's the ramp. The wall, are you new? But that 4 key. Just say it was like 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, the wall. 4, the ramp. It takes them a shorter time than doing. Oh, you can also do this, go backwards, but again, like between these two, and then you have to, like they press a lot quicker. This thing is like you can't. Like I don't know. It's just kind of where that imbalance of switching, building. Also, kind of the faster sensitivity. You know, even with aimbot, on aim assist on console, that doesn't really make a difference. And that's where we notice just kind of an imbalance right there. Just the building and kind of even with aim assist, it doesn't help that much because the other dude's just gonna build as fast as you. You're gonna be over ramped. It's just you get those running generational players where you know it will work. But it's just a lot of times unfortunate. Um, as we're gonna be ending near this ending. We're gonna kind of be ending the stream here. I'm currently chatting with our guest. I'm gonna give him a shout out about this. We don't know what the next episode is. I might have another show tomorrow. Maybe I won't think so. So this will be the last one for probably a week. So just kidding. Um, so that's gonna kind of be the end of the stream. I'm gonna give a shout out to our guest, Silent KS YouTube. Go follow him on Instagram at SilentKS_YouTube. If also I will also go follow him on YouTube, Mixer at SilentKS_YouTube too. Go drop him a follow on that. Prefer you followed Instagram first. I don't know if he has a Twitter or not. I guess I'm gonna do some perennial shout outs for him as well. He's gonna shout out his brother, his sisters, his mom, his dad. He's gonna do all the let's do it for the fam. And also his buddies he went to the lake, his whole fam. That's um he's gonna do the whole fam, let's do the whole fam. Make it interesting. So I'll see you guys another, little bit of short stream. 20 minutes shorter than the last episode, but that's okay. Got pretty good topics in, and we're gonna end off here. So bye.